Welcome back. In this lecture, we will discuss conditioning. So, oftentimes we may have probabilistic information. We might have it in the general case, and we might know a little bit more about the probability of something occurring in a very special case. So, for example, if you look at the probability of me wearing a sport jacket at any given moment in my life, it's probably going to be very low. However, if you look at the probability of me wearing a sport jacket when I am teaching a lecture, it's going to be something totally different because normally that's what I wear when I lecture. And the whole idea of conditioning is to identify how probabilities change when you have this little bit of extra information. And when you think about it, us as human beings, we do this all the time by ourselves because we recognize when the situation has changed. So if we look at the model taking all background information into account, this is often referred to as the prior probability. So if you look at my entire life and you just measure all the time where I'm wearing a sport jacket versus the total time I'm alive, you're going to get some very small number, and that is the prior probability of me wearing a sport jacket. However, all other information must be conditioned on some kind of evidence. So if you have some evidence E where you know I am teaching a lecture, we want to compute this conditional probability, the probability H conditioned on E, or H given on E. This is called the posterior probability. So what's going on here? Well, evidence E is ruling out a bunch of possible worlds that are incompatible with E. We're saying we know for sure E has to be true. So we can forget about all of those other worlds. And so, as a result, we get a new probability measure over possible worlds. This is the probability measure given that E is true. And it's defined as follows. And it's pretty straightforward. You have 0 if E isn't true in that world. And it's going to be some constant C multiplied by the probability measure of that world. Now, where does that C come from? Well, let's go ahead and derive that. So, what we can look at is the probability measure of E, given evidence E, we could say that is equal to the probability of all worlds such that that world satisfies E, plus the probability of E for all worlds such that the world does not satisfy E. That makes sense. And so what you get is you get this constant times P of E. And so if we then go and solve for the constant, it's just going to be simply 1 over P to the E. And just to rehash that, just so you see again, this quantity here matches up with this guy here. And this quantity here matches up with the goose egg, okay? And of this top quantity, recall we have mu of set S. Well, since you're looking at all worlds where E is satisfied, you're essentially just recovering P of E, just by definition. So what we can get here is that conditional probability. We get the probability of the conjunction of H and E together divided by the probability of E. Now, the reason why is you have to consider you have this here becomes equal to C multiplied by just regular mu without E of H and E. Because here we have to consider all worlds where both H and E are true together. And so since C is equal to the reciprocal of the prior probability of E, you recover the equation at the bottom of the slide. So let's make this a little more concrete. Let's go back to our example of these shapes. And so just looking at the probability of picking a star is going to be 0.3. The probability of picking a circle is going to be 0.5. And this, we talked about this in a prior lecture. Okay, so let's say that, hey, we know for sure we're going to draw one of the shapes that is orange. So now we're looking at a much smaller set of things. So the probability that the shape is a star, given that we know it's orange, is going to be 0.5 because you see half of those shapes are stars. Likewise, the probability that it's a circle, given that the color is orange, is 0.25. Now, let's take a look at this from the perspective of conditional probabilities as well. So the probability, the prior probability of being orange, so P orange, that is going to be 0.4. So we can also look at, in the top block, the probability of being both orange in a star and orange in a circle. So probability of orange and star equals 0.2, and probability of orange and circle, that's 0.1. Okay, so we can use this information to, without having to count and do this visual thing you see here, we know that probability of star based on orange equals 0.1, because it's this guy here, divided by 0.4. Oh, sorry, wrong one. It's not 0.1, it's the 0.2. Equals 0.5. Now, right away, you look at this and you might wonder, well, could this result in a number bigger than 1? And the answer is going to be no, because we know that since this set here, orange and star, as that's a subset of all the worlds that are orange, that probability has to be less. And then likewise, we can do the exact same math for probability circle given orange. And that's just going to be 0.1 over 0.4 equals 0.25. So that's it for this lecture on conditioning. Please stay tuned for more content.